Endometriosis affects an estimated 1 in 10 women worldwide. In Uganda, the exact prevalence is unclear but likely underdiagnosed due to limited information on the condition.
I was misdiagnosed, I was going to the hospitals, I was taking painkillers, but I never knew, and even the people where I used to go, those facilities where I used to go, what I think, they never knew and they could not speak out. They could not tell us the truth. And I got to know that I had endometriosis in 2015 May.
In search of answers and a cure, Nakato endured 4 open surgeries. After all this trauma, she finally got the answers when the doctor discovered that she had stage 4 endometriosis.
The open surgeries I got, there were 4. Yes, I got 4, but they were not successful. Yes, they were not successful. And you know that thing of keeping on paying, you pay the money, they are not successful, they don't tell you, don't know.
In that same hospital, she met nurse Grace Nagawa, who had lived a nearly identical story. It was through Nagawa that Nakato met the late Dr. Spire Chigundu, a specialist in laparoscopic surgery. He gave Nakato the kind of hope that she hadn't felt in years.
We are like 36 and he diagnosed us free of charge. He had to give everyone a report, like he could meet you one-on-one and tells you what you're going through and the way forward.
Nakato looked back at the signs and symptoms and she concluded the diagnosis was right. The symptoms of endometriosis include severe pain, dysmenorrhea, pain during and after sex, dyspareunia, pelvic pain, which can occur anytime, not just during periods, pain with bowel movements or urination, especially during menstruation, pain during pelvic exams. Routine checkups may be uncomfortable. Heavy periods, menorrhagia, spotting between periods, fatigue, which includes constant tiredness and low energy, digestive problems, including bloating, diarrhea, constipation, and painful gas, infertility or subfertility, difficulty getting pregnant, shortness of breath or coughing up blood, and this happens in rare cases, mood changes that include anxiety, depression, and irritability. Health experts emphasize that it is crucial to consult with a healthcare provider if you experience any of the symptoms mentioned.
By the time you're having menstrual pain that necessitates you to get admitted, necessitates you to take more than one painkiller, or you can't work during your periods, that's not normal, and no one should normalize it. Usually there is a cause. And in the worst case scenario, the most notable, and I would say notorious cause, is something we call endometriosis.
If endometriosis leads to bleeding inside the abdomen, the blood is not coming out, that blood can get infected because bacteria likes blood. And the blood can get infected and can irritate the inside, resulting into scars.
Endometriosis is classified in 4 stages: minimal, which is stage 1, mild, stage 2, moderate, which is stage 3, and severe, which is stage 4. These stages are based on the extent and depth of endometrial implants, the presence of adhesions, and the involvement of specific organs.
Endometriosis, if I'm to explain it simply, if you look at a woman's uterus, it has about 3 layers. There's what we call the endometrium, which is the inner layer that you shed every month, and that is actually the baby space. Then we have the myometrium, which is the muscle layer. Then we have the serosa, which is just the outside covering. Now, God was so specific that when he was making this endometrium, which is the inner layer, he wanted it to be situated and only located within that inner space of the uterus, not anywhere else. But it so happens that some women who are unfortunate, you find that they have that endometrium outside the uterus. Now the problem with that is that every month As this endometrium in the normal place sheds, also the endometrium that is outside also sheds. The only problem is that the endometrium outside, it has no connection to the outflow tract. It has no connection to the cervix and has no connection to the vagina. So you find that the menstrual blood keeps piling and accumulates wherever this endometrium is. And the body is definitely going to try and absorb that blood, do this and this, do this and this, but the body gets overwhelmed.
Since no cure exists for stage 4 endometriosis, most women with the condition are advised to treat the symptoms in order to slow its progression. For Nagawa and Nakato, the delay in diagnosis allowed the disease to progress unchecked.
I'm now 35 years and I have no child. I got married 4 years back. Of course, life wasn't easy still in marriage because I couldn't have a child, and still I had the endo symptoms coming because at times you're in pain. At times, some of these women don't, having that sexual intercourse. At times, it's not the same as a woman who is okay. So at times, you're traumatized. You get married and maybe the relatives, colleagues to your husband, everyone is like, oh, that woman, she can't even conceive. People put that word, jomunto, no, someone is barren. It's a word that stigmatizes this woman. So to me, one thing I believe is, I have to say, I don't even care about such words. It pains not to have a child, because at times you look at them, but there are moments when we have to accept. It's something I put in my brain, and it's something that we do support our sisters with, because we are many and we have those that have spent 10 years, 9 years, that along the way got different children.
Addressing the infertility fears, doctors maintain that with early diagnosis and correct surgical care, many women can still conceive.
Most of these people are going to need assisted reproduction, and this may include IUI or IVF. And that's where the fertility doctors also come in.
How the couple is managed within the setup of the fertility clinics or fertility unit is very, very key. It's very, very key. And one, you must have the reason why you're not conceiving clearly defined. This should be the first step. Then you have to do IVF. Now, IVF is one of the commonest things. There are now a number of IVF centers available, and the science has improved over time.
They both affirm that there is a need to train more specialists in diagnosis and handling the condition. There are also concerns that the emotional and physical toll on women is too high. For Nakato and Nagawa, the diagnosis brought clarity, but also more uncertainty since the cost of treatment to a condition without cure was extremely too high. In our final episode, we see how these women transformed from survivors to advocates, using their voices to push for change across Uganda and beyond. Betty Mudondo, NTV.